Welcome back to the Schwellick channel. This is Emerging Artists. I thought I did this a year ago, but guys, it's actually been two, and it's been way too long. So this is actually probably from 2024 to 2026, so a lot of these artists have blown up since. And that's the magic of time, I guess. So TheMarias are the first on the list, and these are one of the bands or musicians that have popped up really big. TheMarias are this very ethereal, down-tempo, but vulnerable band. They are classified as alternative indie, and the description that I would put down is psychedelic, soul, jazz, and soft rock. And I think that they're getting all the recognition they deserve because their writing is, I feel like, something we haven't gotten for a while now. And although there are similar artists, it's very hard to find something with the charm, a different charm that stands out, and TheMarias have that. So the song recommendations I would have is Lejos de Ti, which is a very slow one and very sad, but it's still very beautiful. Heavy is more upbeat, but what you'll notice is that even though it's more down-tempo or a lot more chill and relaxed, it still has a lot of vulnerability in the lyrics. There are many layers to it. It's not just surface level. And I think that's what makes it so beautiful, as well as Maria has this very reflective voice. And because it is so intimate and personal and close with the audience, you tend to slow down with that. So I think what is really significant about the band is also what Maria brings to it with her voice. Nobody Knew is a really big one that is quite newly released. A No Puedo, Real Life are from the same album, but they're really amazing ones. I think that they're just a good funk as well. Jupiter is an old one, and it's maybe lost in the archives a bit, but I think it's underrated. I think it's really severely underrated. Spin Me Around and Back to Me, those are the ones I would recommend for you. And if you like Tame Impala, Clairo, Billie Eilish, Bad Bunny, and or Mitski, then you should give the Marias a go. And on the same note, Maria has had or made a side project. It's called Not4Radio, and it basically encapsulates perhaps a different essence of what she wants to communicate as an artist. And what she said is that it's supposed to be a seasonal project. This one, I believe, is supposed to be winter, and I think maybe it's also because it kind of encapsulates and epitomizes isolation and departure. So it is seen as indie pop, and I would describe it as an ethereal, down-tempo jazzscape. And I said jazzscape because I feel like you have that link to Norah Jones in there, which many say that they can see in the Marias as well. But her voice and the elements of almost like lo-fi beats, almost, makes it so ethereal, light, and yet it's so crushing and heartbreaking. My song recommendations are Swan, Back to You, My Turn, Puddles, and Moment, and these are my favorites. So if you like Kali Uchis, I've never said the Cocteau Twins before, so hopefully I didn't mispronounce. Biba Doobie, Norah Jones, Mitski, and Cigarettes After Sex. You should try it, Not4Radio. It really is a beautiful side project, and when she said that she was releasing it, I remember grabbing onto the threads of anything she was like tossing out. I was like, yes, I cannot wait for it. And I mean, look at it, it's such a gorgeous project. There was so much entailed in it. The vinyls were absolutely gorgeous. Our next one is someone who is very dear to me, absolute queen, GoldieBoutilier. She is glamorous, she's heartbreaking, she's so smart and witty, yet she paints such visceral, vivid images. I cannot fret enough how much I need to put the world on Goldie. She is an artist I've been searching for a while now. I feel like when I first heard her, it was like, oh wow, this is different than what I've heard before, and I'm very much influenced by my mum, and she was listening to her for a while, and I think sometimes when I listen to something on repeat for a while, it doesn't get to me as much. But then when I actually, I just inevitably caught on. It was hard to resist. And hopefully you can't hear my cat jumping on the roof. Goldie just brings a different stage presence as well. You can tell how much she's invested in her art, and the writing, the lyrics, everything is amazing. So I would classify her as like not rock on its own, but rock pop. So rock and noir pop. The description is glamorous, dream-soaked Western pop. And the titles kind of give that away as well, with the song recommendations being Cowboy Gangster Politician, absolute banger. That was before her album, which is, I'm afraid, no skips. Her album is amazing, Goldie Montana. And yeah, Favorite Fear is another one. I Am the Rich Man and At the End of the War are my favorites, and I would recommend them to you if you like Suki Waterhouse, Fleetwood Mac. That includes like Stevie Nicks. I think even if you like ABBA, you would really like Goldie as well. OrvillePeck, Lana Del Rey, and Kylie Minogue. This is your girl. You have to. I'm putting you on something. This next one is a very small band called BeeJar. And BeeJar hasn't been around for too long. I discovered them when I was in the UK. Unfortunately, never got the opportunity to see them, and I was honestly crushed because they were small enough that I would have been able to go. But I wasn't. So this is a very nostalgic band for me because the vibe that they emulate is just insane. So I would classify them as indie rock, but the description would be groovy rock tunes with poppy nostalgia. The song recommendations would be Butterflies, Playing to the Gallery, Honey, and What You Wanna Be. Now the thing is, I love this band for so many reasons, but the singer reminds me of Hayley Williams. Ellen, the singer's name is. So Ellen has a very similar voice, and I think I hear it in Butterflies a lot. So if you like Paramore, you'd probably really like BeeJar as well, but the vibe they create is like Sixpence None the Richer, the Cardigans, Spice Girls, the Cranberries, all those like really warm, cozy bands, which is why I've why I've created this vibe for them, because this is what they emulate to me. So the next one is who I think will be the essentially next Chappell Roan. It's very hard to deny it because her tunes and the way that she writes is not only layered with so much depth, but there is so much intricacy in the noise and sound, the complete articulation of everything. So her name is valenciagrace, and Valencia has been honestly like one of the only pop girlies that I've seen rising, and I'm like, how haven't they gotten bigger by now? So I'm very shocked at the pace that she is, but I think by the end of this year she's going to be bigger, and I think a lot more people will recognize it. So I would classify her as dark theatrical pop, with the description of Broadway brought to wistful pop. Wistful as in it's more sad and melodic, but sometimes it is yearning and unrequited, or sometimes it is injustice. And I think she does it really well in Lucky You're a Star, which is very theatrical. And then Super Elastic Heart is a very beautiful one. She has one that has just come out, but it is a bit of a naughty word starting with S. You'd be able to find it on her discography if you go look. But yeah, so you do have to be a bit older for that one. If you like Lady Gaga, Chappell Roan, Marina, Melanie Martinez, or Kate Bush, then you'd probably really like valenciagrace as well. And she's coming out with so much more as of lately, so I wouldn't be surprised if we had something around the corner. This next one has blown up a lot since I discovered them. Here's the story behind this. I remember seeing him so briefly, without even knowing, on TikTok when I even had TikTok, which was years ago. And I think there was like a sound, it was like Sweet Caroline was going around. It was really funny. And I think he was promoting Caroline, his song. And that's the song that apparently really catalyzed his career. I didn't know it at the time. I didn't know who he was. I just was like, oh, that's another song on the internet. Cool, hopefully they go far. What brought my attention was Back to Friends, but then that created a kind of haze, and I did not like the song at the time because I was in the haze. The haze in my world is that period of time where a song has been played so much that you cannot escape it no matter how much you try, and then you just get sick of it. And now that it was like a year later, I feel like I'm in love with it again. But what actually put me on somb.r was Undressed, that song specifically, because I don't feel like I heard it as much everywhere until later, and then when his album actually came out. So that's a long story, sorry guys, I just ran about it. But somb.r is this, I feel like he's getting all the credit he deserves. I think it's very beautiful to see yearning and that being written in such a different light than what I feel like we're used to seeing. I think it's like this nice middle ground, and where it doesn't give away too much privacy and intimacy, like how some writers may go into the depths of, you know, women and their relationship with them intimately, and sometimes it feels like it's very much just objective. But this feels like there is so much more depth to perceiving and relationships with women. And that's why I much prefer somb.r over some other artists. But I also just think that his music is written really well, and the ability to write it where you can have so much layers, emotions, and narrative while also still making it something that you can dance to, you can scream along to, and still enjoy while also having a heavy heart is really talented thing. So I'll say he's alternative rock. His description is unrequited melancholic rock harmonies. Okay, anyway, you're gonna see it regardless. The song recommendations that I'd have Makes Me Want You. Hold my hand when I say this. Just because it's a juvenile work doesn't mean it's not good. Okay? I sometimes think that the juvenile works really show development, and also, like, not just sonically, but also lyrically, where you can see how someone has changed in thought process or the way that they perceive things. Come Closer is my favorite song of all time. Probably up there with a lot of Jeff Buckley songs. And Florence and the Machine. But anyway, Under the Mat, Dime, and Undressed are all from the same album as well, and they're really amazing songs. Burner Phone is a song from before, but I think is also a very nice, sweet song. If you like Radiohead, Jeff Buckley, Gautier, Empire of the Sun, In Excess, or 21 Pilots, you will probably like somb.r as well. So this next one is someone who I cannot even vouch enough for, who has put in so much work but is just amazing at producing their music, is oliviacdacal. She is a gorgeous, absolutely stunning and kind, sweet person. Sweet musician from Australia. She's from Melbourne. Maybe this is why I have such a bias, but I have a different love for oliviacdacal, mainly because she is just the cutest online whenever she posts on Instagram, but also just because I know she's going to go far with the determination, endurance, resilience, and absolute vision that she has for her music. She's definitely going far. So I found her when she released Lady Love, but she has released so many songs since, and I'm afraid they're going to keep coming, and I love it. I cannot get enough. So I would put her in indie pop neo soul, but the description is celestial yearning wrapped in soulful pop. Yes, it's poppy, but it's also at the same time very, very melancholic. There is so many emotions going on, but at the same time you can see the hope in her heart, and that's what makes it feel so divine. Also because she just has that voice. So the song recommendations is obviously Lady Love. You cannot skip it. Lover, Where'd You Go? I'll Come Back to You. And Komotu. If you like Lana Del Rey, Frank Ocean, TheMarias, and Jeff Buckley, you will love oliviacdacal. I'm afraid there are no misses, and I cannot wait to see where else she goes. This next one is Leoniebiney, and ever since I've made this, more songs have come out. I'm pretty sure she released a song, and I know she's going to release the rest of the EP in 2 weeks or something. Anywho, I'm going to put the new one on screen, and before I do that, I first found her when I did watch it on Instagram actually, and it was groupie. It was her strumming along and singing it, and there was something so intimate and sweet about just listening to her strum on her bed playing it. And it almost feels like that in the studio version, which is why I classified her as bedroom indie pop. And the description though is saccharine odes of melodic reflection. Very much reflective, retrospective, looking inwards. It's really such a different thing that I'm used to. It kind of reminds me of the strumming that I'll mention of the artists below. But the song recommendations that I would have is Groupie, because I fell in love with that, and I think it's very hard not to. Think Twice, Love You So, Summer, and I'm Making You Coffee. Those are all really beautiful, and you can tell when it's very purposeful when she builds the intensity and layers of her music. If you like Frank Ocean, Bieber Doobie, Taylor Swift, TheMarias, Corinne Bailey Rae, and or Clairo, then you'll probably like Leonie as well. I think that the strumming reminds me a lot of Taylor Swift, Bieber Doobie, and Clairo. So if you like that soft sweetness, this is definitely for you. Leonie's for you. Okay, so she's obviously blown up since I found her. I fell in love with Aquamarine, and I wasn't sure how the rest would go, and I was not disappointed in the least by AddisonRae's work. So it was very hard not to see Diet Pepsi. It was everywhere. It's not my favorite, mainly because there was a hazing. I felt like I couldn't escape it. But at the same time, I probably would like it today. This is just like a character transformation. She's done a 180, and her world building and her commitment to performing, to creativity in itself is really beautiful. And I would love to ask her what her image is, where she gets all of this world building, if it is something that she does or if it's something she works mainly with the team, because the vision is just so vivid and so perfectly executed. To me, it's hard to believe if it was never her thoughts, you know. I would put her in dance pop. The description though is hyper femme synth electro pop. I would recommend Headphones On, Aquamarine, High Fashion, Times Like These, and Fame Is a Gun. I needed AddisonRae for a period of time because I had been going through something where, going to the hospital every single day as a carer, and then having to mentally shut off on the drive to focus. I needed her on to be dissociating from all the emotional stuff that was happening. And Headphones On really felt like, it'd start with that. Let's get into let's escape now, and let's get into this beautiful world that she's created, because it is something like very sweet that also kind of isn't ignorant to troubles that you face in everyday life. So if you like Lana Del Rey, Britney Spears, Madonna, and or Tate McRae, you will probably love AddisonRae. This next one has I think the same producer or an artist on it. This is Debbie Dawson, and they have the same writer behind them. And I love Debbie Dawson because she doesn't let the industry kind of dim her shine. She has her vision and she is going full at it, even though she doesn't have the same traction that Addison did. Debbie Dawson into disco country, and the description would be disco country dancing with synth pop, and that's where the influence of like ABBA comes in, and even Sabrina Carpenter. Song recommendations I would say is You Killed the Music, Happy World, Gut Feelings, and the OrvillePeck song that she's on, which is called Back at Your Door. If you like ABBA, The Carpenters, AddisonRae, Stevie Nicks, Sabrina Carpenter, and Taylor Swift, you'll love Debbie Dawson. She's amazing. I think she has more in store for us, but is sitting on it for a time being. But she's amazing. I think she's going to come out with a lot more disco country music soon. This next one is going to be, she reminds me of like Florence and the Machine's like daughter. Her name is Harvey, and she makes these very beautiful, very in tune with nature pieces. So I would put it as psychedelic pop folk. And the description is fantastical lush dream during a full moon, almost as if you are creeping from a dream to a nightmare where it's got that thrill, that adrenaline, but you wake up and then you are yearning for that dream still. And that's what I feel like you get from ones like Moon Girl, The Huntress. It's just, she has a very specific vision. She has built this world that is essentially this and filled with so much more. She has done short films with her friends, and I think she's a very creative artist that is coming into the industry that we won't be able to ignore soon. She will be working with, I think, a lot of big people doing multiple things more than just music. So the song recommendations I have is Moon Girl, Ophelia, Fragile, Vampire, The Huntress, and Nature's Bride. If you like Florence and the Machine, The Last Dinner Party, Lana Del Rey, Aurora, Hosier, or Paris Paloma, you will love Harvey. This is MikaylaGeier, or Geier, and she is also coming into the pop scene, but I think she'll be more underground pop. And I say this because she's, like, for example, she's opening for Marina, and I think that's amazing. But Marina is she's a pop star, but she's underground still. She's still alternative, and I think Mikayla falls into that category as well. So she's just released Hot Pot, which is a EP album, which I think is really stunning and amazing. It's gorgeous, and she's really put in a lot of really fun beats into it. So I would put her as alt pop, and the description is experimental disco diva pop, and I think it's very much summed up in her music videos, her style, but you actually hear the girliness and how fun and just diva it is. So the song recommendations I would give you is Dirty Shirley, Ego of a Man, Piano in the Sky, Diva, and Paris. I would recommend her to you if you like Marina, Chapel Roan, Olivia Rodrigo, Katy Perry, and this last one's a bit of a oddball, but I would still recommend her to you if you like Rebecca Sugar, because a lot of people who like Steven Universe end up liking Mikayla's work. It's kind of that uplifting vibe, but also very, like, not cartoonish aspect, but there is in the playfulness of it. This next one is RavynLenae, and she has also gotten a lot bigger in the time that I've put her on the list. But essentially, she's blown up from Love Me Not, which is one of my favourite songs, and is hard not to love. But even when I was working in the UK, I remember feeling like the shop songs were really horrible first off. Absolutely hated it. But then I heard Genius all the time playing by Raven, and every single time it came on, I felt relief in my body that a good song was on. And it just made me realize how much I love her music and how much it stands out amongst all the other wishy-washy stuff. So I would put her down as alt R&B or neo soul. So I would say it's more, in my opinion, it's like hypnotic rock, but not rock, hard rock, but like soft rock, softened by a siren's voice. Rock was definitely not the right word there, but I hope you know what I mean. I think Lenae just has this really beautiful voice that will always soften anything that is playing, and she really centers and grounds the listener when she's singing, but mainly because she could be talking about a really hard topic, and almost it feels like she's reassuring us that it's okay, but somehow it's not. So Genius, Love Me Not, the ones that I love, but I also really love Pink and Pink and Skin Tight. If you like SZA, Likey Lee, TLC, Destiny's Child, Solange, and FKA Twigs, then you'll probably like RavynLenae as well. Oh, the queen, bro. Okay, so this is an artist I will never stop talking about. I will die on this horse. I made a fan music video to her music, and she used it, and in the fan music video she included so many fans. This is the queen of her people. She loves her fans as much as they love her, and she appreciates them for that. And I think that's something that I really love about some small artists, and it really shows that they, no matter how big they got, they would still talk to fans, they would still interact. And I feel that with Susannah Joffemusic. So her music is grunge but very beautiful and light, and the topics that she writes about are just incredible. Her lyric writing is even better, and she paints this very like Lana Del Rey image. So I would put her in the alt indie genre. The description is grungy and pretty little heartbreak pieces. Now, one of the song recommendations is Texas Baby, and that has to do with struggling with identity and where you come from and how that can clash sometimes. And how painful that can be, but also accepting that pain because you want to fit in, or, you know. Antler Queen is amazing. All these music videos as well are amazing. Like, I'm just thinking about Texas Baby was perfect, Antler Queen was perfect, Sofia Coppola is what made me fall in love with her. I remember driving to the airport a lot, listening to that, and it just, like, not a lot of songs calm me when I'm on the way to the airport, but that one was good. Omophagia is one that grew on me a lot. Die Your Daughter is one of her most popular songs, and I think rightfully so. It really encapsulates this connection of mother and daughter, and not wanting that tether to be cut even after death. Call Me Pretty is a very nice one as well. If you like Lana Del Rey, Lola Young, Chapel Roan, Sabrina Carpenter, Phoebe Bridgers, and Ethel Cain, then you'll love Susannah Joffemusic. Now, I know it may seem like a contrast with Sabrina and Chapel in it, but she does have that kind of camp, fun vibe to it, while also still being quite serious and, you know, melancholic with it. So I think she's a beautiful middle ground and mix of all ideas. Grentperez, another Aussie. Okay, so Grentperez, I fell in love with his song, which is a collab, and it's Folding Chairs on the Moon. It's a really sweet song. It kind of feels like his vibes are lo-fi, but they're still very groovy. And I would put him down as bedroom indie pop, similar to like Leonie, but not in the same way that it's strumming, but like kind of the lo-fi tunes in the background. So the description is bedroom ballads strung together softly. And Folding Chairs on the Moon is the first one. But then I have Cherry Wine, Clementine, Dandelion, Room for You. And these are all really sweet, and they still are quite... Some are a bit slow, but then they have, similar to TheMarias, they have that vibe going with them. If you like Michael Bublé, Ricky Montgomery, Cave Town, Leve, Rex Orange County, and or Bibi Doobie, you'll love Grentperez. He has this very intimate charm in terms of it feeling a little informal, but also like, you know, he's in the room making the music with you, which is kind of nice. This is Zinadelphia, and I have listened to her song, it's escaping me. It's evaded me. We'll get it up. The Seamstress. I've been listening to her song, The Seamstress, on repeat. I really love it. I love the build up and how she gets up and then goes down. It's really amazing. So she's pop soul, and the description I have is strong vocals mixed with funky pop soul. It's kind of jazzy in the way of like some of them. Some that are slower are not so jazzy, but they still have the strong vocals regardless. It's very hard for her, I think, not like to have a softer, sweeter voice. She has strength in her voice. So Cosmos is a recommendation. Call Up Nancy is the one people compare to Amy Winehouse the most. So if you like Amy Winehouse, then you'll probably like her from Call Up Nancy. The Seamstress and Love Over Glory. I would recommend her to you if you like Lana Del Rey, Olivia Dean, Paloma Faith, Nancy Sinatra, and of course, yes, Amy Winehouse. There is something theatrical about it, but in the more cinematic way, if that makes sense. And that goes for, I think, the next person that I've got down. No, never mind. That's OrvillePeck. So this is OrvillePeck, and I know he's a lot bigger than I probably think, but I still wanted to put him down because I had Debbie Dawson on there, and I still think he's small for being country pop. So the description I have is rocking anthems from a pop cowboy, but in his album Pony, he also really struggles with his identity, and also like it encapsulates a lot of different facets that are perhaps a lot more slow and upsetting. But my personal adventure going into his music was listening to Stampede from my mum, and that album is really amazing to me. I think there's so many beautiful songs on it. So the song recommendations are from Stampede, which is why I've written this the way it is, but I'm very curious to see if his music will remain more slow-paced. The song recommendations I have is Dead of Night, Chemical Sunset, Death Valley High, and Rhinestone Cowboy. I love that one. I think it's just such an uplifting vibe. If you like Johnny Cash, Chapel Roan, Brandy Carlisle, Shaky Graves, Trixie Mattel, or Lana Del Rey, this is your man. Okay, EttaMarcus. This is the one who has... It sometimes feels a bit cinematic, but in like the theatrical, cinematic-ish. I'm not sure how to explain it, but essentially I know that her song Lucky Lady got a bit popular, and then I think she's getting bigger, but I don't think she has as much traction as I thought she would. So her genre is alternative indie. Her name is EttaMarcus, if I didn't already say that. The description is gritty coexistence of longing and sadness, and that's from what I've heard, but I haven't heard too much, and it's someone that I want to dive into a little bit more. But the song recommendations is Death Grips, Dog Eyes, Theatre, and Lucky Lady. Now, I would recommend her to you if you like Olivia Rodrigo, Florence and the Machine, Paris Paloma, Portishead, and Bleachers. This next one was recommended to me by a fan in the comments, so shout out to you. Her name is Chinchilla, and she's described as a rapper, but I don't think she is necessarily rapping. It feels more like, not like slam poetry, but I don't know. There's a rhyme and rhythm to it in a different way than I know rapping does, but it's different. I can't explain it. Regardless, she has this very angsty, almost defiant energy to her, which is very refreshing for a young woman. So I really like that about her. She's in electropop as a genre. Description: heavy and swaggering, defiant electropop. There we go. Defiant is something I just cannot miss putting in, because Little Girl Gone is crazy. So is MF Diamond, Cut You Off, and then those are the ones that are like more slammy, demanding, defiant. And then the ones that are very slow, reflective, I really like Avoidance and 1 to 5. They're really sad, slow songs. But I think I really appreciate her songwriting when she goes at that angle. But a lot of people really like the rage and the strength and empowerment that she has. So I would say if you like Iggy Azalea, Paris Paloma, I think I've been doing the wrong name for this. Okay, I think I've been getting it mixed up. Billie Eilish, Halsey, and Kesha, then Chinchilla is for you. Singles. Okay, these are the singles that have caught my eye I haven't had the time to look into deeper, but these are for you. Okay, this one I have been able to look into. Now, I fell in love with Pink Elephants, the song, but there's actually some lore behind this. There's some beef that I have that is unspoken. Now, my beef is, I was going on about how artists are amazing. So oliviacdacal, she's literally messaged me back. So has Susanna Joffe. Huge. To me, I was like, me, little old me. Oh, I felt, I was like chuffed. I was very chuffed, I'm not gonna lie. And then I missed seeing Alfreda by one day of landing in the UK. There was nothing I could do. I really wanted to see her show. And I had been supporting her for a while, and it rubs me the wrong way when an artist is how much time smaller and doesn't take the effort to build their fan base. When you know that the only reason you are there is because of fans, and the only reason you can grow is because of fans. The relationship between artist and fanship now is there was parasocial relationships which are blurring the lines, but the lines now are getting thicker and thicker to the point where they almost want to separate the fans entirely, but you cannot. And that's just the truth about going into the industry and that line of work. Just like, if you're a contracted truck driver, you cannot not take a phone call. You have to take it. There are sacrifices to each job, whatever it may be. But not once did I get a reply. I said I missed this show and I really wanted to go. It was probably maybe a $20 ticket, AUD. And something about that just rubs me the wrong way. Anyway, I love Pink Elephants. I fell in love with it. I would put her down as theatrical alt pop, and the description is cartoonish theatrics of adoration, because it's almost like, oh, I know this is unhealthy. I know this is a bad relationship, but I love you and there's so much adoration for you. If you like Trixie Mattel, Marina, Scissor Sisters, or CMAT, then Alfreda is your artist. Oh, bro, okay, these guys, I always call them FizzleKicks, but they're called RizzleKicks. And I just love the vibe that they're going for. It's It's really fun, upbeat, it's catchy, and I don't know, there's something really cheeky about it, but in a very fun way. And the song that hooked me is Follow Excitement. Okay, bro, I'm getting too excited about it, but it's hip hop funk, and the description I have is nostalgic funking dance hop. This is something that reminds me of like what I would listen to on the way to school that my mum put on, or like when she'd put on the music channel and we just have music videos playing. And I don't know, I just really love the vibe that it brings. It's featuring RacheLchinouriri, so you have to give her a listen. Outcast, Wheatus, Dizzy Rascal, and KDB. If you like all of them, then you should listen to RizzleKicks. They have a really beautiful sound to them, as in it's very nostalgic, it's very fun. And on the line of RacheLchinouriri, I could not leave her out. She is an amazing songwriter, and I think we've known for a while that she's gonna go places. It's just we need to accelerate it. She is alt indie. The description I had was indie strumming inspired by Y2K Britpop. The Britpop pop is a really essential part of it, mainly because it's a time capsule that she brings and buries up again. It's an amazing way of telling stories. If you like Miss Lauryn Hill, Olivia Dean, Taylor Swift, Lily Allen, Steve Lacy, King Princess, or Santi Gold, then you'll like RacheLchinouriri. Now, the songs that hooked me were Never Need Me is one that I really, really love, but it's also kind of sad. And Can We Talk About Isaac? It's very confrontational, and her music is very much like bringing up things that are uncomfortable topics sometimes. The song that hooked me to her, though, was All I Ever Asked of You, and that was because it was in collaboration with somb.r, and I just love the vibe that they bring together. I don't even know if he like features with any other artists, but I think she's one of the only people, and I can see why. She has so much talent, so much raw emotion that grates along with his temperament, if that makes sense. I really love this song, so if you like either of them, you should listen to it. This next one is Inuday. I don't really know his stuff that much, but his vibe is like very clear, especially from his music. I got hooked on the rot, and surprisingly, it's very upbeat, even though it's like a bit grueling and like, whoa, maybe there's some resentment or harsh feelings. It's still really fun. I would put it in dark wave or post-punk. The description is punkish hush crawling through beats. Like, it's like this punkish, almost like threatening thing that is coming through the dance beats, so it makes it that little bit less threatening, but there's still like, whoa, harshness to it. If you like MGMT, like specifically Time to Pretend or Little Dark Age, bro, it wasn't that a time on the internet. The artist J Ferrari or Imagine Dragons, then Inuday is for you. That is Inuday. So let me know if you saw your small artist on screen. Leave a comment below to let me know and give them more traction. Give the fan base more fans and make more friends in the comments. While also let me know if your small artist isn't there so I can have a look and we can also push them up as well. I really love making these videos, so hopefully if there are enough views I can keep making them. But until then, I'll see you next time.